everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young here at Area 58. I have an awesome guest today. He's a musician. We got him in by Zoom. I believe he's north of Boston. He's performed with some notables. Jeff Beck, we're going to have a video with that, and another video of his to watch about halfway through the show. But of course, before we get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So, we have Carver Jewelers, Ronald Aaron Liley, Delano Goldsmiths, right here in the building. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. And by the way, Carver Jewelers is in Carver, right here in the building. Salon Giovanni in Marshfield we have. We have Tom Otto in Middleborough. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have the Cornerstone Barbershop in Pembroke. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Equestrians Anonymous. Quality used tax, saddles, equipment, show clothing, essentials, and gifts for the horse, hound, and human. Right down the road here on Route 58 in Carver as well. We have Evan Young Realty. That's my brother Evan. He's a realtor. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58 in the other direction. And we have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham, open 6 days a week, all except Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They make the best breakfast from Boston to the Cape. And they have DoorDash delivery. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now, Joe Mack, how you doing? And thank you for doing my show. And what a dooted-up costume you wear. What is all that?
I dress like this all the time. Every time I'm going to go play somewhere, I dress. I don't wear shorts. I don't wear sneakers. I've been doing this 58. Well, I've been playing 58 years.
You're 73. That's incredible.
Yeah,
you look about 33.
I wish. Anyway, nice to finally meet you.
Yep, same here.
There's something I definitely wanted to talk to you about. It's brand new. No one's ever done anything like this before. And it's called Plug In and Play. Actually, technically, Joe Mack's Plug In and Play.
All right, hold it up to the. There you go. Push it forward. Beautiful. Okay, I see it. It's sweet.
Okay.
Wow, that is a nice marquee, man.
Well, thanks to ChatGPT, helped me put that together. And so it's a rotating night of solo musicians performing with professional backing tracks. So you take your iPod, you bring it in, you hook up to my system, and you play, whether it's guitar, bass, violin, keyboards, horns, whatever, or vocalist.
Wow.
And you get like 10 or 15 minutes, then the next person. And rotating music of professional backing tracks with professional players all night long. So I'm promoting it now and looking for venues to go. I got a lot of good response from musicians. I came up with this because I went to Nuno Betancourt's 6-string sanctuary in Las Vegas.
Okay.
With my lovely wife. And they had a guy who used to play with Steve Vai for like 23 years. He was playing an iPod, and he would point to you, and you take a solo, you take a solo. But they were just random songs off of YouTube. So I said to the head guy at Dreamcatcher who was putting on the show, I said, what if you brought your own iPod in and you get to play with a song that you rehearsed and you know it cold? So that's a great idea. Put it in the suggestion box. So that's what I did. I came home and I went to a jam session and I came out with saying, hey, you know what? Why don't I just do this locally also? It could be really good. So,
okay. So this is almost like a karaoke of Joe Mack for everyone else. Is that it?
It's actually, it's karaoke, only it's like, you know how you go to karaoke, some people know the stuff, some people don't, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, it's got to be on a performance level. You know this stuff really well.
Right.
I'm hoping to attract professionals that are frustrated because they can't go to a jam session because no one knows their songs. And this is something that they practiced, and it's a great piece of music. Like, for instance, I do a song by Al Di Meola called The Wizard.
Okay.
A lot of time signatures, a lot of different things. No one's going to want to learn that for the heck of it. So that's something I can play out. Jeff Beck, Scatterbrain, something I can play out that I want to let people know that I learned this. I really learned it. It's working. So I figure there's more guys out there like me that want to showcase themselves for a little while. And it could bring in for one of the performers could bring in some students. So it's a win-win-win situation. The club owner's house is full all night. He's serving drinks, food. Everybody's happy. That's the way I see it, anyway.
Okay. So you've been playing 58 years since 1968.
Well, that's when I first started. Yeah. So I have my first guitar over here. It's a Stella.
Okay.
from Steve and Roebuck. So yeah. And
Okay.
I got inspired because on the third floor of our house at the time in Somerville lived a 22-year-old girl named Penny. And she'd
Okay.
come down and show me a few things on the guitar. And that was it from them.
Okay. So you were 15.
12.
Wait a minute. I'm thinking. Oh, okay. I'm 15 plus. All right. You're 73. Oh, okay. I guess my math is a little off. All right. Well. So what I do with every guest is we want to talk about your childhood and how you got into music and what you were doing as a kid. Obviously, it's worked for you phenomenally. So let's start with that, and then if I have any questions pertaining to what your childhood was like and how it's relating to what you're doing now, I'll throw them in as I see fit. So let's start with that. You already mentioned Penny, the girl who taught you a little guitar when you were a kid. So let's elaborate on that and move on to other stuff, and let's discuss.
From there, I started listening to records. This is the old days when you had to use a record and stop, and there was no internet. Nobody could show you how to do everything.
Right.
So I picked up stuff slowly but surely. It's kind of a thing that it wasn't work because I loved it.
Right.
So the more I got into it, and then my brother was in a band, so I would go to the room when they weren't practicing and play on their amplifiers. Of course, I'd always leave the guy's pedal plugged in and he'd be pissed off because his battery died, but such is the life. And then I started playing frats as a kid.
And you were 12 doing this, right? Frats? You're talking about college frats?
By that time, I was about 16 to 17.
Okay, so you were.
I was playing for a little while.
Okay. Now, what were you? Now you grew up in Somerville, you said, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have any inspirations from, I mean, back then that was pre-Aerosmith, pre-Giles, did you have any local inspirations?
Yeah, the Stones. I was
okay.
I wasn't really a big...
All right, okay. I'm wondering if there were any Boston area bands that are big now that inspired you, but I guess
those guys were my age, so they were listening to the same. Plus, a guy across the street had a guitar. That was, kind of like that kind of thing. I actually started on keyboards.
Okay.
I was playing piano for about 6 months. My brother was playing for about a year. And I was studying at St. Clement's School.
Where's that?
In Somerville Medford line.
Okay, is that high school? Is that a music school, high school, both?
No, grade school. I think I was in probably 5th, 6th grade. And I took my lesson, and the nun said, "Gee, Joe, that was very good. I'd like to give you a gold star, but your brother will get upset."
Oh, yeah?
And I went, "What? What?" So I switched the instrument and went to guitar because if I had to be in competition with my brother and they didn't want to acknowledge that I was playing good, I'm not playing the keyboards anymore. So I play a little bit now, but just enough to program on.
Okay. So how did you end up performing with Jeff Beck? How did you?
No, I didn't play with Jeff Beck. I played with Steve Vai.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I played with Steve Vai 1999. I was at Guitar Center in Boston.
Okay.
And they had this sign up and it said, play with Steve Vai. I said, "What's this all about?" They said, "Well, if you have a tape, a CD or something, put it in the pile and he's going to pick the winner and have you." So I said, okay. And I had a CD out at the time, all original music, and mostly on the blues side. So I put it in, and I had a steady Thursday night gig in Lynn, a place called the Blue Note.
Okay.
So I get up around noontime on Friday. The phone's ringing. I pick it up, and I say, "Is this Joe Mack?" I said, "Yeah." "Is this Joe Mack, the guitar player?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" They said, "Steve Vai is calling your name. You won the contest." I went, they said, "Why aren't you here?" I said, "I didn't know I was going to win. How did I know I was going to win?" So I went down. They said, "Get down here right away." So I went down the store. And, of course, he was gone. So I went over to Avalon. The big bus was there. The guy comes walking out of the bus. I said, "Is Steve here?" He said, "No." 5 minutes later, he goes back in the bus comes out with Steve. And I said, "Hi, Steve. I'm Joe Mack. I won the contest." He goes, "Oh, great." He says, "How does this work? Because I have a gig tonight." He says, "Well, if you don't want to do it." I said, No. I want to do it. Just how does it work?" He goes, "Well, you come down around 5 o'clock. We pick a song, and then we go from there." I said, "Okay, I'll see you around 5. So I went down back to Avalon later on in the day.
Okay.
And we got permission to film it. So I said, "Let's do Freeway Jam by Jeff Beck." He said, okay. So I'm waiting backstage for an hour and a half while they're playing all their fantastic music. And I'm doing everything I can just so I wouldn't get stone fingers, trying to relax, having my guitar on.
Okay.
So he says, we got a winner here. Joe Mack, come on out. And it was like, yeah. And he says, come on, this could be you. Still no applause. When I played a few notes, then people started to applause.
Okay.
So that was good.
Okay, and on that note, we're about halfway through the show. We're going to watch a couple of Joe Mack's videos, come back and discuss them. So enjoy them, and we'll be right back to continue with the interview.
Scatterbrain by Jeff Beck. Woo!
Oh, Joe, those were great. Tell us what we just watched.
Well, you watched me jamming with Nuno at Six String Sanctuary in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And what had happened was he came down to give a talk, and he said, look, I just woke up. I don't feel like talking. I'm going to have all you guys come up and play through my rig with me. So it was funny because I waited an hour and 20 minutes. I was in line, and about 6 people ahead of me, they cut it off. They ran out of time. So they said, come back the next day. So I was back the next day. When I went to go up, he goes, hey, this guy was here yesterday. He was here yesterday. And I said, no, I didn't already play. So I played with him. And then I asked him later on, I said, what made you think? He goes, I saw you. I said, yeah, I waited in line an hour and 20 minutes. I didn't play, though. So, that was it. So that's what happened there. But that was a lot of fun.
Okay, sure it was.
Yeah. And the other one, how about if I do Scatterbrain instead of Over the Rainbow?
Okay.
Okay, by Jeff.
That'll work.
Yeah, it's in 5/8, 9/8. I mean.
Got it. Okay. All right. Now, Over the Rainbow. That's from the Wizard of Oz, though, right? You're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'll do just to make sure. Nuno thing is like a minute and a half. I think Rainbow was maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and if it's under 7 minutes, I'll do Scatterbrain. If it's not, I'll just send you the 2. Okay.
All right. So sounds good. Well, they'll be edited in, and it'll look great when we're done. All right. Yeah. Well, so what are you currently doing? What you had a gig this morning? Tell me about that. And what was it? And
I play some assisted living places.
Okay.
And I was in Burlington, and what I do is
Burlington, Mass. Or Burlington, Vermont. Burlington, Mass. Right.
Burlington, Mass. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I do with them is I do stuff like Elvis, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Nat King Cole. I actually throw in Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Okay.
They love it. And Peter Gunn by Mancini. I'll do My Girl. I'll do Mack the Knife, that kind of stuff. New York, September. Because the backing tracks have all the instruments that you hear the original song on.
Okay.
So I play guitar and sing. I take out the vocals and I take out the guitar parts, and the rest, even background vocals are there. Everything's there.
All right. Now tell me about all the bands you have been in. It's obvious for all the years you've been doing this, you must have been. I'm guessing there were people that may not have been born when you started, and there are people that are probably not still alive when you began.
Yeah.
Well, so you want to talk about that? Talk about some of the for 6 decades almost now. That's a lot of water under the bridge. So let's kind of go over that.
The bass player in the band, my brother's band,
Yeah.
he eventually hooked up with another guy that lived down the street from him, and we started playing frats.
Okay.
So that was the first part of going out and playing. They had some jams, and I'll tell you, when I first started playing, I was so nervous I would get cramped up like crazy.
Okay.
So eventually worked, and you meet people, and you do a band for a little while with these guys, you do a little while for these guys. And then I went on the road with an 8-piece horn band called the Jamie Murad All-Star Review.
Wow. Okay.
Jamie had a 4-octave voice. He could sing Journey. He could sing anything. And all the guys, most of the guys were Berkeley guys. Okay, they graduated.
Did you go to Berkeley?
No. I studied privately with a guy. I got accepted at Berkeley, but I didn't go. I studied privately with a guy named Bruce Bartlett, who's a teacher at Berkeley now. He wasn't at the time. I met him in upstate New York. I was doing a gig up there, and he was doing a gig in the next hotel over. And he was from Chelsea, and I was living in Somerville at the time.
Are you still living in Somerville now? No, you're in Lynn, right?
No, I'm in Nahant.
Nahant, that's right. You were telling me. Okay. Well, you're on the water, right? You're on the waterfront.
Yeah. We're on the top of the hill, and the water's down below us. So, yeah.
Did you get much crap yesterday with the storm, or how'd you shoveled yourself out? So obviously,
well, snow blowed in. My wife shoveled too. It was bad because it's no place.
It was bad. Fortunately, they cleared out. I mean, I live in Brockton, and they cleared out all the roads. The highways were perfectly black, and the tar was very dry when I was driving today. Well, tell me about what's the deal with your brother now? Have you been like friendly competitors since you were kids? Is that it? As a musician?
No, he was. He's 19 months older, so he had his crowd. I had my crowd.
Right.
The only thing I kicked myself. They always used to go see Duke Robillard. He was playing a local bar. And they always used to go see him, and I never went. I should have went. I played with Duke way down the road, but I could have met him right then and maybe started studying with him. Who knows? But but no, he got out of music. He became a fireman. He's retired now as a lieutenant. He's also followed in my father's footsteps. My father was chief of the fire department in Somerville for years, and also a carpenter and that stuff. And that's what my brother did, exactly that. I told my parents I want to be a musician. My father said, "Okay." My mother freaked out.
Okay.
I had been playing probably 30 years, and she said, Home Depot is looking for people. I said, yeah, thanks.
Wow. Now that's
a good story about
inspirational, but okay.
Yeah. I was over in Aruba with the Jamie Rod and the All-Star Review.
Okay.
And, we played one of the places we played was a dinner theater in the hotel. And so I'm tuning my guitar, and I hear this voice say, "Excuse me, Sonny, do you know my favorite song?" I turned around. It was my mother.
Oh, wow.
3,000 miles from home. She pointed to this table, the front table. My sister, her husband, my brother, his wife, my 2 cousins. And they all had the menus. They dropped the menus. I said, well, what are you doing? What's going on? So the lead singer, Jamie, knew my whole family. I had been with him 8 years, so he knew everybody. So they all had their menus up, and he's singing along, and his wife's doing the spotlight. And he got to a certain point, they all dropped the menus. His wife thought he was having a heart attack. He was like gassed. And he said, "Did you know?" I said, "I had no idea. No idea whatsoever." So that was a great story for that. Them coming over, unbeknownst to me. So.
Well, you must have almost had a heart attack with your mother showing up. You didn't expect that.
I had no idea whatsoever. I mean, you don't think 3,000 miles from home, you don't think you're going to see your mother on this.
That's right.
Stage. Yeah. So, yeah, it was funny.
Well, she obviously realized that you had your dream and you conquered it.
Well, not really. I think she thought the music thing was still, kind of like not dependable. So I don't know.
So what do you got for you got a wife, you got kids, grandchildren, big family?
Kids, no grandchildren. I have Sharon's got 2 daughters that I love very dearly, but no, nothing that. And we have a couple of grand dogs.
Oh, that's awesome. Does she perform music too? Does she have anything to do with your music?
No.
Although just helping you set up the Zoom today.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I love to dance.
Oh, that's good. Well, tell me something. Now, aside from music, have you ever done anything else? Have you ever done any anything with sports, anything with acting, anything with art, anything that's other than music for entertainment. Because I'm always trying to find out how multifaceted my guests are.
Well, no, not really. Not in the fields. Part of the whole deal with being a musician is getting gigs. So that's an art in itself, booking yourself. Last year in April, I had 127 dates booked, and then I had to deal with the illness, so I had to cancel.
Yeah.
So as of right now, I have 70 for this upcoming year. Sweet. And and I think with the plug in and play, I'm trying to move away from the assisted living a little bit and get more gigs, immediate gigs. Like
you want bars, clubs.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, the good thing about the assisted living is they really love it. First of all, you get a very appreciative audience. The second thing, it's always in the morning or the afternoon, so doesn't interfere with nighttime work. So I could do conceivably 3 gigs in a day: morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 at night. No big deal.
Of course. Now it's hard to believe, but spring and summer isn't too far behind. And that having been said, I'm wondering, how about outdoor stuff? Like, do you go to Faneuil Hall in the spring and summer and perform there, or maybe on the beach at Plymouth?
All outside places. I've played at festivals and stuff like that. Breweries are good for that. Restaurants are good for that kind of thing.
You're a guest guitarist a lot.
Who?
You're a guest guitarist a lot.
Oh, yeah. And I do guest shots with different bands for jam sessions and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So, like, my friends have a jam session, they'll say, okay, you're the guest tonight. Thank you very much, and that kind of thing. And I also have a trio that I've had together over 10 years. But if you can believe this, they want to pay the band 3 people less than they want to pay me as a solo act.
Wow, I bet the band isn't happy about it.
No, I mean, I used for years, I would promote the band and the solo act. And then we get no bites on the band, always on the solo act. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I've explained that to them. They all have other gigs too, so it's no big deal. We had a reunion for my birthday at Brody's Seaport in Salem. So that was we had like a whole night of playing together, which was great.
Okay, well, guess what, Joe? We're in the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you have finishing. I hope you have fun talking to me.
Yeah, went by really quick.
It always does. So what I want you to do in the remaining time is give shouts out to people that are going to see the show. You can start with Sharon, your wife. I guess she's your wife, and then other people.
Yeah. Teresa and Paula, my nieces, my brother Dennis, TC. You think of anybody? Sparky.
Ronnie.
Sparky and Lisa. Ronnie, my bass player. Chris Bilius, my keyboard player. TC, did I say TC?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Whoever else, if I forgot to say hello, I love you anyway. Don't worry about it.
Well, I know. They'll know you're thinking of them. Now, with that having been said, is there anything coming up on the horizon that you want to mention that you might have overlooked? Just want to make sure we cover everything in the near future.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting the plug and play started. I think it's going to be really, really big. I think once it gets going, it's something that no one's ever done before. People do karaoke, but personally, any karaoke I usually go see, people can't sing. They're singing actually a fifth or a fourth or a third below or above the melody, and it's just like blows my mind how they can hear that and not the melody line. So this is going to be a lot different than that. This is going to be guys who have actually rehearsed to the tracks. They know the track. They know it cold. And I think some minds are going to be blown because if you go on Instagram, there's 6-year-old kids playing Eric Johnson, Steve Vai. Yeah, it's amazing. And there's all kinds of talent out there of kids sitting in their bedroom, don't know how to get out. Whatever, whether it's violin, keyboards, horns, whatever it is. There's a lot of talent out there, and this is going to be an outlet for them to come and shine and hopefully bring their friends and people to cheer them on. And eventually maybe we'll get some kind of like prize for a guy who, get the most applause or something like that. Who knows?
All right.
Go ahead.
So, now that having been said, if you had a good time with me, if you know anyone else that could be a good guest for my show, give them my digits as fast as you can, because I'm always looking for new guests, especially from people that I've had on before.
I have a few people in mind that you probably be good.
Even for next week, that would be great. I'm still looking to fill my Thursday spot for next week, if possibly. We just have to see, because I have to see my doctor on Friday about what I get going too.
Good luck with that.
I feel pretty good now, but I definitely want to get more names on the docket for future shows. All right, we're going to wrap it up now. I got one last favor to ask. Will you stick around? My tech guy will take a pic of us for Facebook, and I'll tag you in it. Are you okay to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks, we're wrapping up another great Top of Time interview with Area 58. We'll be back in a few weeks for more shows there, and wrapping off and snapping out. Stay on it, baby.